In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to use the chunking method to improve your memory. Ever met someone who remembers almost everything, from cybersecurity facts to which coworker who brought the weird bean dip to a potluck? Chances are they are not a brainiac from another dimension. They're probably just using a sneaky little tool from cognitive science called the chunking method. Stick with me here and I'll show you how to turn your leaky memory into a steel trap, or at least a well-labeled file drawer. So what exactly is the chunking method? Chunking is like organizing your mental closet instead of stuffing everything into one shelf or a junky drawer. You group related things together. Your brain can only juggle around 4 things at once, which explains why you can remember your Wi-Fi password or where your keys are, but not both, unfortunately. By using chunking, you're telling your brain, hey, let's store this stuff smartly so we don't panic later. A memorizing technique called the chunking approach divides lengthy informational passages into manageable parts. These sections can be informed using visual clues, personal associations, or even commonalities. About 4 pieces of information may be processed simultaneously by human working memory, also known as short-term memory. There are 2 ways the brain can respond to new information. One way to create room for new data is to replace old data, moving significant portions from short-term memory to your long-term memory, where they may be easily retrieved later in the second choice. Pushing information into long-term memory is the goal while attempting to remember it, and chunking can assist you in this regard. For kids who must absorb and retain bigger amounts of material on a regular basis, it can be an excellent tool. Even though adults don't need to memorize as much, there are still some essential items that everyone has to know by memory, such as passwords, critical phone numbers, card numbers, people's names and faces, and even essential job procedures. You might not need to take an exam to have your remembering abilities evaluated if you're not a student, but both personally and professionally, having an excellent recall makes life so much simpler. How the chunking method can be used. Let's examine how the chunking approach can be applied to your everyday day-to-day activities. Perspective plans with new videos and podcasts weekly. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/perspective plans for exclusive videos and more. Visit perspectiveplans.com for all of your planner and stationery needs. Only at Perspective Plans, helping you plan for what's to come. Hey, I'm Christina V. Rising and welcome to the Perspective Plan Show. Here, I help you boost your productivity and stay organized so you can handle whatever life throws at you. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos and podcasts every single week. You can also shop for workbooks, printables, and stickers at perspectiveplans.com. Thank you patrons and channel members for supporting the show. Now let's get into this episode. Helping you plan for what's to come. Tip 1. Put important information first. Every day, thousands of people's information is processed by the human brain. However, not everything is worthy of occupying our long-term memory. Identifying the important facts you wish to remember is the first step. Information can be ranked using a priority matrix according to timeliness, effect, significance, or any other factors relevant to your situation. Another useful method is the inverted pyramid approach. On paper, draw an inverted pyramid or even an upside-down pyramid and use horizontal lines to split it into pieces. Now begin entering data in decreasing order of significance. For example, suppose you are required to speak at a corporate conference about the significance of cybersecurity. Your upside-down pyramid would be divided as follows. Core information, top of the pyramid, the main point you wish to make, including the sorts of risk, the reasons why cybersecurity is important for organizations, and strategies for preventing security breaches. Additional details will be in the center of the pyramid. Advice on how to live a cyber-smart life, and your supporting details will be in the base of the pyramid. All the information and figures you have gathered to back up your claims are included in this part. You must keep in mind both the essential and supplementary facts when giving the speech. A PowerPoint presentation should be adequate for the supporting data. This kind of knowledge organization establishes a distinct hierarchy that facilitates and expedites memory. Because it avoids cognitive overload, this method is particularly helpful for learning complicated subjects, studying for tests, or even getting ready for presentations. Additionally, by using several senses in the learning process, chunking may be used with visualization strategies like mind maps or even color-coded notes to further improve your recall. Tip 2. Determine correlations and linkages. Look for connections or similarities between items, then organize data according to those connections. The number of groups you require will depend on the amount of information. For instance, managing the strategy of a small business requires you to handle several moving parts. managing keyword research, subject cluster creation, on-page and off-page SEO, newsletter launch, frequent online posting and interaction, blog authoring, KPI tracking, and so much more. You get the idea. Determine the relationships between these jobs and classify them into general categories such as content generation, writing blog posts and social media material, SEO, keyword research, topic cluster construction, on-page SEO, and so forth. 1 day a week can be set out for a group strategy. Combining duties makes it easier to stay organized and focused, and the results are so more significant. Combining new and old information might also help you remember things better. Suppose you have twice yearly meetings with your team members who live in different places. You can rapidly remember their origins by using connections. Try associating Tim with your pre-existing recollections of Michigan if you find it difficult to recall that he is from the state. Perhaps your parents took you there. Establish a mental connection to help you recall important details and conduct talks with ease. Using narrative methods or even mnemonic devices is another efficient method for strengthening connections. Try creating a brief, memorable tale out of a sequence of activities in a process. For example, if you have trouble remembering them, consider a figure called SEO Sam, who in the context of SEO strategy begins conducting keyword research, creates subject clusters like puzzle pieces, optimizes pages, and then disseminates the information via social media and newsletters. Making these connections keeps learning interesting and dynamic while also making material simpler to remember. Tip 3. Use additional memorizing strategies. Recall the well-known mnemonic that was given to you in school to help you remember the names of the planets in the solar system. My very excellent mom just served us noodles. Or the abbreviation VIBGYOR to help you recall the rainbow's 7 colors. When you are unable to identify connections or parallels between processes, these remembering strategies might be quite useful. Suppose you are studying how to compose emails that are successful. You can condense it to clear, since there are simply too many recommendations to memorize. C. Concise. Write the emails that are succinct and direct. L. Logical. Ensure that everything makes sense from beginning to end. E. Interesting. Compose in a manner that piques the reader's curiosity. A. Actionable. Make sure your email contains calls to actions or even directions. R. Respectful. Steer clear of offensive words and speak in a very courteous manner. For various steps in your workflow, you can come up with a comparable acronym or even mnemonic. This will make it easy to recall complicated processes. The loci approach, sometimes referred to as the memory palace, is another effective remembering strategy. This method entails linking bits of knowledge to particular places in a familiar environment, like your house or place of work. If you're trying to commit the steps of creating a successful sales pitch to a memory, for instance, you could picture yourself going through your home and linking each room to a different stage of your pitch. For instance, your front door could stand for the introduction, the living room for building credibility, and the kitchen for presenting your key selling points. You can more easily and accurately recall knowledge by walking through various places in your mind. Tip 4. Make use of mind mapping. It might be difficult to remember a lengthy written passage, but you will remember it longer if you develop a visual depiction. Assume that you are a novice at managing a firm and are attempting to recall the many components of a business plan. First, break the main idea into a number of subsections and parts. Then visualize the idea. Make a mind map just like this. After you grasp the fundamentals, you may add a few more twigs, like subtopics, or even branches, the main topic and concept, to the mind map and include other crucial information. This is one of the most widely used note-taking techniques, and it's great for learning new things or even coming up with ideas. Mind mapping is incredibly helpful for destructuring difficult topics into manageable chunks. A core node called marketing plan can be used for creating a marketing plan, for instance, and then branch out into important categories like target audience, brand messaging, advertising channels, and even budget allocation. You can further subdivide each of these into more specific categories, such as social media ads under advertising channels or even demographics under target audience. You can keep track of small details while maintaining a broad perspective with this methodical yet adaptable approach, which makes it simpler to remember and adjust your plan as necessary. Tip 5, practice, and of course more practice. As you practice, you'll get better at seeing similarities, forming associations, and comprehending chunking. You can transfer complicated knowledge from working memory to long-term memory and recall it with some ease. And recall it with the same ease as you recite the alphabet with regular practice. Begin by using chunking strategies for routine chores, like organizing your work calendar or even memorizing a grocery list. To make things easier to remember, organize them into categories like fruits, dairy, home staples, etc., rather than remembering each individual item. This approach will eventually become second nature to you, making it easier for you to remember and access information for both personal and professional purposes. Additionally, push yourself by taking advantage of fresh learning chances that call for memory retention, like learning a new language or even becoming proficient in a particular ability. For example, group words by theme example like food, travel, emotions, while learning vocabulary in a foreign language to help you remember them more quickly. Your cognitive talents will get stronger the more chunking is included into your everyday routine, allowing you to retain and recall knowledge with ease. Tip 6. Common application of the chunking method. You can increase productivity, stay focused, and recall material more faster by breaking down information into manageable pieces for both personal and professional to-do lists. Chunking concepts are used in several memory approaches by arranging information in well-known places. Strategies such as the loci technique, memory palace, basically create pieces of related concepts. Actors who memorize lines may employ a similar strategy by organizing conversation or even strategies. Athletes can divide their game plans or routines into smaller, easier to manage segments. A baseball hitter can see the windup, pitch types, and even swing for the pitcher as separate stages. Speakers frequently divide their talks into main ideas and illustrate arguments. This enables them to concentrate on efficiently presenting each section rather than learning a lengthy script word by word. Even while they may not explicitly mention chunking, it's likely that many prosperous people employ comparable techniques to efficiently arrange and even remember knowledge. Learning can be improved by chunking, which allows students to divide difficult concepts into manageable chunks. For instance, rather than attempting to commit everything to memory in chronological order, students might group historical events according to time periods, significant personalities, or even overarching themes. In a similar vein, medical students studying the human anatomy can organize the body's systems into neurological, digestive, and circulatory categories, which makes it easier to understand complex intricacies without becoming overwhelmed. Increasing productivity at work, professionals in a variety of disciplines can use chunking to optimize processes. To tackle one function at a time, a software developer can, for example, divide a major coding project into simpler ones. Similar to this, a marketer overseeing a campaign might separate work into 4 categories: performance analysis, social media scheduling, content production, and even research. People may enhance work management, lessen cognitive overload, and sustain consistent progress toward their objectives by breaking down their duties into targeted areas. Here are some real-world examples of how you can use the chunking process. Recalling numbers. Divide the numbers into sets of 3 or even 4 rather than using a lengthy string. Keeping in mind that pi is 3.141. Phone numbers, bank account numbers, credit card numbers, and even numeric passwords may all be used using this method. List memorization. Let's say that you are shopping for cashews, apples, strawberries, chocolates, broccoli, tomatoes, beans, eggs, and poultry. Sort this very lengthy list into categories such as fruits, strawberries and apples, and then you'll have vegetables, broccoli, beans, and tomatoes. Then you'll have snacks, cashews and chocolate, and your last category would include proteins, which would have chicken and eggs. Remembering agendas for meetings. In a meeting, talking about everything at once may overwhelm your team and cause you to overlook crucial topics. To keep structured from the beginning, divide the meeting into introductory comments, project updates, financial reports, and even future plans, for example. If it's a quarterly review meeting, chunking may also be used for a variety of other activities, such as identifying individuals by their names or even looks. If you have tried bullet journaling, time blocking, or just plain old to-do lists but haven't found the right solution to manage your time, then it's time to try out the Hourly Planner Bundle. This is the ultimate planner with everything you need to manage your schedule and get things done today. Featuring 300 plus planner pages with and without sidebars, 100 plus event and holiday labels, and over 2,000 plus planner stickers in 14 unique colors. All this and more can be found in our Hourly Planner Bundle, available in 2 amazing color options at perspectiveplans.com. Paperback edition, now available at Amazon. Helping you plan for what's to come. Bonus tip if you made it this far into the episode: the chunking method's history. In this 1956 study, the magical number 7, plus or minus 2, Some limits on our capacity for processing information. Cognitive researcher George A. Miller first proposed the idea of chunking. According to Miller, the human brain can only store about 7 plus or even minus 2 objects in its working memory at once. However, humans are better able to retain and comprehend more complicated information when they aggregate individual objects into bigger, meaningful units or even chunks. Miller's work laid the foundation for the development of cognitive psychology, particularly in the area of comprehending how people cognitively arrange and process information. In his 1970 strategy, The Role of Chunking in Organization in the Process of Recall, Neil F. Johnson repeated a similar idea. He discussed chunk, memory code, decode, and even recode, 4 fundamental ideas in memory organization. Behavior sequences that are clustered together and frequently occur in particular patterns are called chunks. They might be collections of data kept in the same memory code. Decoding converts the code into information that may be used, whereas recoding enables memorizing a portion of the code. The associative relations of things are influenced by their organization. Objects from separate chunks exhibit weaker or no transferable relationships, whereas items from the same chunk have significant correlations. These days, the chunking strategy is crucial for everyday problem solving and our educational institutions. Share this awesome episode with someone you know who needs it to help them plan for what's to come. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I hate for you to miss the next episode. Now let's get into our recap. So let's do a quick recap just in case you missed a tip on the list. Tip 1, put important information first. Tip 2, determine correlations and linkages. Tip 3, use additional memorizing strategies. Tip 4, make use of mind mapping. Tip 5, practice, practice, and more practice. Tip 6, common application of the chunking method. Here are a few common uses for chunking. Everyone chunks. Athletes break down their plays. Actors memorize lines and beats. Students can sort history by eras. And professionals tackle big tasks in small batches. So basically, chunking is how people pretend to have it all together, and I love that for us. Chunking your way to make a memorable experience. The chunking approach has made it simple to absorb, retain, and even retrieve knowledge in a variety of contexts, including the workplace and educational institutions. No matter how complicated the material is, chunking helps you store it safely in your long-term memory so that you can quickly access it when you need it. In a world where the term memory conjures images of phone storage rather than the human brain, this approach is a treasure. It makes you a more intelligent version of yourself, keeps your brain engaged, and enhances cognitive ability. The best way out is always through. Robert Frost. I just want to take a moment to thank our patrons and channel members. This episode would not be possible without your support. Thank you. And if you would like to support the show, visit patreon.com/perspectiveplans today. Thank you so much for stopping by and pressing play. I truly appreciate it. Let me know down below in the comments or your podcast review what tip you'll be using. Keep planning for what's to come, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.